Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Chela, and I'm your worship associate for this beautiful Sunday together. As we move into this service, I would like us all to take a quiet moment. I'd like us to hold space for the war our nation is now involved in, for the injuries and death that war spreads in all directions, for those who celebrate today and those who mourn. Let us share a few breaths together. What are some things that you lean on? What sustains and supports your life, your sense of yourself, your place in the world? What unexpected supports show up when you really need them? I could say that I lean on coffee, and it would not necessarily be a joke. I could say I lean on seeing the mountains in the distance, the ocean shining, the glow of light in my window after a long, sad night. I could say I lean on the voice of my beloved, the laughter of my friends. I lean on words shared through the ages that are stored up in books, music passed through voices and written scores. I could say I lean on my profession as a book restorer to give me purpose. And all of this is true. And all these things I lean on can be taken away. And then I would be bereft, utterly bereft, if my supports were taken away. And it's such a lonely word, bereft, a word for feeling adrift, sitting and looking into a future you do not understand yet, a future and a past that shift. This week I shared space with my younger sister, and we bore witness to the earthly remains of our cousin, our closest cousin, Stephen. My sister and I paid our respects and helped Stephen move to another dimension together. And what supported my sister and I? There were wide open and scary spaces that we sat together in. Supports were not clear. Our parents, now aged and dealing with a variety of infirmities, cannot help us the way they did. And where cousin Stephen was now in front of us, we could not follow. What was alive between my sister and I and our deceased cousin? Was there clarity and assistance found in something unexpected? I reached into my Unitarian Universalist faith and found, predictably, a poem by Mary Oliver that I leaned on to help aid myself at this memorial moment. My sister shared from the Christian Book of Common Prayer, and I found something very beautiful there as well. I accepted what I found in that room with my sister, with my cousin, and I accepted the help that came my way. Supports move, we lean, and then we fall. We can even decide to walk away from our normal supports, willing ourselves into the new with purpose and with courage. We may find ourselves in beautiful company on our journey. Come, let us worship together.
We are in a season of fasting. People of many faiths and spiritual traditions use this season as we are getting closer to spring to clean their bodies, their minds, open their spirits to what might happen if they are emptied of food or the busyness of the day. So it is Ramadan, it is Lent, the Baha'is are fasting. The Jews will fast a few days before Purim. So I bring to you words from Baha'u'llah of the Baha'i faith. These are from the Hidden Words. O child of spirit, my first counsel to you is this: keep your heart pure, kind, and radiant. so that your inner life may be lasting and undying. May whatever is harsh within us soften. May whatever is restless become still. O child of being, your heart is my home. Make it holy, that I may dwell there. In this season of fasting, we clear the inner space. We loosen the grip of pride and self-concern. O child of humanity, if you love me, turn away from self-centeredness. If you seek my pleasure, do not put your own first. May this fast make our hearts bright, our spirits light, and our lives turned toward what is eternal. I am Kikanza Nuri-Robins. I'm your preacher for the morning, and I am happy to be here. I am a member of this community, and I am a minister who works with congregations and other organizations that are in transition or ought to be. This Unitarian Universalist congregation is where my heart has found home. We are a liberal, progressive, religious movement that is truly inclusive and diverse in its people and their beliefs. We are united by our commitment to do justice and by building together the beloved community. We are also people who make room for one more, and there are folks who are sitting in the narthex saying, is there room for me on the pew? So if you have room for one more, would you raise your hand so the ushers can, and descendants. We remember our ancestors and those of people we know. We remember the many people and cultures that we don't know. This land that we are on is not ours. It was loaned or purchased or stolen from others. And we have a responsibility to be good stewards of this land, to be allies and advocates of the people who were here before us, the people known and unknown with whom we share this space. And we are also stewarding this space, this land, this congregation, this community for the people who will live here after us, because we acknowledge the land and its peoples, because we are part of them. Let us rise and sing our opening song together.
Good morning, everyone. Whoa. So our opening hymn this morning is 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are, and we will be singing this in a round. So once together, and then pick a random number from 1 to 4, except for the choir, you have your number assignments. And if you pick 1, you're gonna follow May Claire. If you pick 2, you're going to follow Daniel. If you pick 3, you're going to follow Olivia. And you pick 4, you're going to follow David. Okay, and then we'll do the round twice.
Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to serve humankind in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship. Thus do we covenant with each other. El amor es la enseñanza de esta iglesia. Buscar la verdad es su sacramento y el servicio es la oración. Vivir juntos en paz, buscar el conocimiento en la libertad, servir a la humanidad en comunión. Así es como convenimos unos a otros.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Shauna Shaked. I'm the co-chair of the Children and Youth RE Committee. I'm here in place of our amazing DRE, Jessica Tenhave Place, who isn't here today. So I'm going to invite the children to collect food donations for the Westside Food Bank. So if you can raise your hand, if you have food for them to get, then they will come gather it. Oh, I see someone in the back there. I don't know if Alex or Zia wants to. Okay. Thank you. And then you all can join us up here on the chancel. Okay. And you all can take a seat on the steps, and we can start our time for all ages. Okay, and for this, we're going to have a little story, and we're going to have a few folks acting out the story. So, this evening, as Chela said and Kikanza, Jewish people all over the world will celebrate Purim. It's a really fun holiday that I actually remember my mom telling me about, involving dressing up in costumes, putting on plays, eating special treats, and telling the story of Queen Esther. The ancient story tells us that Esther was a young Jewish woman living in Persia with her uncle Mordecai. I'll have Esther stand up so we can see. Esther appeared to be so strong and brave that when the king saw her, this is our king, he chose her to be his new queen. But Esther's uncle Mordecai warned Esther not to tell the king that she was Jewish. Maybe he was afraid the king would not treat her well if he knew. After all, the king's jealous advisor, Haman, was jealous of the praise that Uncle Mordecai received for doing good deeds. And he didn't know what to do with these feelings, so he was angry with all the Jewish people because of his jealousy around Mordecai. Maybe the king would be angry with Esther too if he knew that she was Jewish. So Esther kept her secret until the day that she discovered that the jealous and angry Haman was plotting to get the king to pass a law against the Jews that would put all of her people in danger. She knew that she had to appeal to the king to protect them, even if it meant putting her own life in danger. Her uncle Mordecai reminded her about how brave she could be and that it had been her destiny to become the queen so that she would be able to protect her people. So Esther bravely approached the king and asked him, "Please, your majesty, spare my life and the lives of my people who your advisor Haman wants to destroy." Okay, I have a question for the kiddos. What do you think the king will decide to do here? Does anyone want to share?
Teddy's wanting me to say on his behalf, because now he's hiding, that he thinks that the king is going to save the Jewish people.
Okay, let's see. Anyone else? Let's see what happens. Okay. The king admired Esther's bravery and promised to protect her people and to ensure that the jealous and angry Haman engaged in community service to address his prejudice. It's you know. Because of Esther's bravery, the Jewish people lived in that land in peace and safety with the freedom to practice their traditions and pass them down to their children. The actors may take a bow, and then we will, I know. Okay. And just to wrap this up, this is the story that has been told for many generations. Some things were changed. The facts of history tell us that Jewish people have lived in Persia, or what is today Iran, since the 6th century BCE, living through long periods of peace and harmony with their neighbors, as well as times of conflict and persecution. Today, the biggest population of Jewish people from Iran live right here in Los Angeles, where they continue to practice the unique traditions of their Jewish faith and Persian culture. The story of Esther is a reminder for all of us to be brave and stand up for our values of pluralism and justice. We wish for the peaceful coexistence and acceptance of different peoples, religions, and cultures around the world, and today we are especially wishing for peace in Iran. So, thank you. Thank you, and it looks like Bixby would like to add to this delightful story.
So was the reason of yesterday's attack because today is going to be the holiday?
So Bixby asked about the reason of yesterday's attack related to today being the holiday. That is not my understanding, but I think we should continue this conversation. That is a great question, Bixby. Thank you, everyone, for engaging in this story, and thank you for the children. And we can now sing our children out.
Away. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you as you go on your way.
I do have a few announcements for today. First one is usually do silence your cell phones if you have not yet. We love you, but we may be interrupted by your ringtones. And the second is we are always honored to welcome visitors into our community. If you'd like to learn more about our faith and life at UU Santa Monica, we invite you to join our in-person First Sunday Visitor Meetups. And actually, since today is the first Sunday, that's happening today after the service. I think it'll be over in the cottage, but you can ask at the visitor table and other places, and you will be directed towards where that gathering is happening. Bring your questions, your curiosity, and come get to know us. We'd love to meet you. Our art wall out in Forbes Hall is excited to host an opening reception, a show of beautiful quilts in Forbes Hall after the service today. Don't miss this chance to see textile arts and some of the textile artists in our midst. Art sustains us in hard times, and quilts especially have a beautiful history of sustaining life in hard times. So enjoy the reception and enjoy the art on the wall, and we look forward to more art events in our church. I would like someone from Dining from Dollars to come up and make an announcement about where this amazing congregational fundraising event is at. Thank you, Carl.
Hello again, once again. I'm Carl Lasofsky. I am one of the organizers in the Dining for Dollars. It's our congregant-driven fundraiser, and a very blessed one by everybody. We love it. We started this iteration of Dining for Dollars last week, and people are bidding well and a lot, and we are happy to see that, and we encourage you to keep bidding. It ends tonight at 8 o'clock, so there's lots of room still for the rest of the day, but at 8 o'clock, bidding is over, and then we start actually offering the events, and that will go on much of the year basically until December. So. Octria.com is our platform, and we have 2 tables outside, so after worship, feel free to visit us if you have questions, and we look forward to hearing from you, and as always, bid high and bid often.
Thank you, Carl, and thanks to all of you who have contributed in all different ways to this very important fundraising event. It's going to be fun. I'd like to announce that the Green Committee, dealing with sustainability, among other things, in our church and on our grounds and in our lives, is meeting today after the service, I think over in the shade structure. They do so much beautiful work. Go check them out. And now we're going to come into our ever popular time to greet your neighbor. Please keep your ears open for Ryan's piano cue, which is your cue to get back to your seat and be ready for the next part of our worship service. But for now, please welcome those around you, familiar faces and new, and go for it.
Thank you so much. You know, I am one of your biggest fans. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So it's March 1st, and we are marching forth. It's hard to believe that it is already March. It's almost spring. So the theme this month is, I forgot already. I just looked it up. Paying attention. This is an object lesson. We want you to consider setting aside some of the busyness of your life, some of the distractions, some of the to-do lists, so that you can pay attention to what is before you. I'm done. Let's go have coffee. So our communications team insists that we give a description, a sermon title and a description of the sermon months before it is ever written or even sometimes thought about being written. So we're talking about the Sabbath this morning, and I will make it fit. Because that is one of my gifts, making things fit. It's important to pay attention, and Sabbath time is an opportunity to pay attention and to put some space between the busyness of our lives and saying, this is sacred time, this is holy space, this is space for the soul. So in this moment, this is, if you're following along in the order of service, which might get you in trouble if I'm up here, it says joys and sorrows. So no one called in to say that they had a particular joy or sorrow. But I think that all of us, if we have listened to the news or listened to the people who listen to the news, we know that there is great disturbance in our world. There is war, and there is more war, and there are the after effects of war. And then there are those who celebrate because of the war, and there are those who are mourn and grieve because there is war. It's complicated, and it's ugly, and it has repercussions that go on and on and on. And so our joys and sorrows are war and more war. So in this moment of meditation, where we sit in silence together, I invite you to think not just about the war, but to think about your spirit and how your spirit responds to the things around you, how your spirit responds to the news, how your spirit responds to the people who are spewing and ranting because of the news, who are joyful and grieving because of the news. And I would ask you, what does your spirit want more of? What does your spirit want less of? That's just spirit. Some of you want a call to action, but first sit. What does your heart want? And then you can move to what can you do? What can you do more of? What can you do less of? If you are participating in the season of fasting, sometimes it's not just fasting for food, it's fasting for the things that distract you from the path that you are on. So what can you do more of? What can you do less of? So let us sit together, feeling the energy of those around you, while you sit alone with your thoughts and your reflections, while you clear your mind and see what spirit drops into it, or what is already there that you were too busy to remember, or that you already forgot. You can begin your journey back to the room. And let's take a deep collective breath together. Sabbath keeping is the practice of a mini fast every week, a small fast of busyness between putting space between the ordinary and the extraordinary. The practice of welcoming the Sabbath is a practice of leaning into the boundary between the everyday and the holy day. So if you can imagine on a Friday night at sunset, watching the mystics, the Kabbalists, robed in white, standing in a sacred field facing west and praying, "Come, Sabbath, come." A traditional song in the Jewish tradition is Lekha Dodi, "Come, come with me." It's interpreted here. I'm going to read you an interpretation by my colleague, Rabbi Naomi Levy, who has a congregation here in Southern California called Nashuva, which is just an absolutely wonderful musical service that I invite you to take part in. And we have a Jewish congregation that meets here that you are also welcome to join. Lecha Dodi, come. You aren't just a holy day. You are a presence, a spirit, a mood, a state of mind. You are light. Shine through Sabbath candles and enter my home, my body, my soul. I long for you. I wait for you all week long. You are peace. When you arrive, I breathe with ease. I release all the worries of my week. Tension and anxiety melt away. You are comfort. Wipe away my tears. Touch my soul and heal it. Wake me out of my rut. Open my well-protected heart. You are with me for just one day, but I pray for the time when you will spread your peace over the whole world. Enter my soul. Fill me with your light. Come, peace of my heart. Come, peace of my soul. Come, Sabbath rest. I've been thinking a lot about Sabbath rest, and when I speak of the Sabbath, I'm not speaking of the Judeo-Christian Sabbath day, but the idea, the concept of Sabbath rest, of Sabbath moments, Sabbath as an interruption of ordinary time with sacred time. The Sabbath is spirit in the form of time, if you can think of that, spirit, whatever spirit means to you, in the form of time. Sabbath rest is allowing spirit to rest within you. Spirit is that which connects us to all that there is, and that which calls out the best of us. Fasting allows us to lean into the emptiness and find fullness of the heart, fullness of the spirit, fuel for the mind in the form of insight and inspiration. So we fast, setting aside some of the busyness, some of the things that take up our time, so that there is a moment for inspiration, for insight. In the Hebrew scriptures, in Genesis, you may have heard of that book, it says that God blessed the seventh day and made it holy. Days 1 through 6 were very good. Day 7 is holy. And if you drive through a Jewish neighborhood on a Sabbath, you'll see families walking to Shabbat services. If you visit an observant Jewish home on Friday night, you'll light the Shabbat candles, sit with the family to eat, lift a glass of wine as you offer a blessing for the Sabbath. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Blessed are you, Lord our God, ruler of the universe, who has sanctified us with your commandments and commanded us to light the Sabbath candles. So the greeting on the Sabbath is Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. May you feel peace. May you feel the peace of this holy time. Shabbat Shalom. It's a nice concept, regardless of your religious inclination, and yet most of us are too busy to take a whole day off to rest. We'll take time off once or twice a year, go to Benneville Pines or to the spa, some other restful place, but most of us don't consciously put margins of rest around our busyness on a regular basis. So when I work with spiritual direction clients, many of whom are overworked seminarians who don't have enough time for anything extra, I suggest that they spend the time between our sessions just noticing Sabbath moments. moving the idea from the unconscious to consciousness. I said, you don't have to do anything, just notice. Notice what you missed. They don't have to stop their busyness, they just have to notice. And when we meet, I ask them, well, what did you notice? What did you notice? What have you been missing? For some people, Sabbath keeping is a spiritual discipline. That is, you do something in a routine way, in a practice way, to allow you to move on your spiritual path. It's routine mindfulness that becomes a way of connecting to the mystery, to the universe, whatever you call that ineffable thing that's greater than all of us. Sabbath keeping is slowing down, putting margins on the pages of your days, keeping a rhythm of life that does indeed include rest, not falling out into your bed almost close to unconsciousness because you're too overworked and too tired and too busy, but mindful rest that gives you a chance to restore, to renew, to sharpen your best tool, which is your best self. Sabbath creates space to breathe. It's a time to stop working. It's a time to stop worrying, to stop planning, to stop responding, to stop protesting, to stop ranting. It's a time to notice and appreciate. A time to be authentically, integrally, wholly you. Those times may be just moments, and that's okay, because those are your Sabbath moments. Just a space where you can breathe and center yourself and remember who you are. A Sabbath moment is a space in time when Spirit brushes your cheek and reminds you in some way that you are not alone in this, whatever this is. It's an opportunity to pause and to let the stress and worries be by themselves without you for just a moment so that you can notice a gorgeous sunset, a beautiful butterfly, a baby's laughter, the afterglow of lovemaking, a perfect white Casablanca lily. The things that take your breath away because you are breathing Spirit. Spirit is breathing you. You are one with the breath of life, just for a moment. You may not be able to stay in that space, especially not this weekend, but you can for a moment, a Sabbath moment. Whenever and however you can get to that place, that is your Sabbath time. When you turn off the noises in your head and let your heart lead and your spirit rest. In the book by Pat Conroy called South Broad, there are twins, Sheba and Trevor. Sheba and Trevor are pre-adolescent. They've had an imperfect childhood, and they are seeking one perfect day. So throughout the book, whenever something good happens to them or around them, they pause and they ask each other, is this it? Is this the perfect day? Now, I am too old and cynical for a perfect day, but I do still seek to identify and appreciate perfect moments, Sabbath moments. So, my last perfect moment, you might wonder? Well, the summer before last, not last summer, but the summer before last, a long time, I made a jacket. It was a great jacket that I'd been planning for some time, and it had my signature lining, which was something that is unnecessarily beautiful, surprising, and colorful. It was great, and it didn't work. I made it exceedingly well. I'm very proud of the crafting that I did, but the jacket as a garment, it just didn't work. So I put it away with my other UFOs. Those are unfinished objects. Got a closet full of them, And I would look at it occasionally wondering if I should just give it away. People love that when I just give the stuff away. But I kept it. And then a couple of weeks ago, it came to me in a whoosh of clarity during a Sabbath moment. Turn the jacket inside out. What? Too much work? Much easier said than done. Reconstructing something is like remodeling a house. You can't just sew up a seam. You got to take it apart and fix what you didn't fix before and then put it back together. But I listened to the jacket. I listened as the jacket told me what I needed to do. And after some hours of careful re-engineering, I had a fabulous jacket. Functional and beautiful. And this time, the inside is on the outside. Now, my Sabbath moments in this process were several. First, being at peace with the imperfection. I was able to hang it in the closet and say, well, that one didn't work, and that's okay. I was okay with the jacket not working. There were pieces of the jacket that worked, but I didn't even go there. I was like, done. Second was realizing a year and a half later, that I could fix it without beating myself up for what might have been called a failure. And then the third Sabbath moment came when I put the jacket on and the mirror said, "You go, girl, looks good." So once you start thinking about it, Sabbath moments become easier to identify. I have some cactus in my yard. It's called Sirius, and they have beautiful blooms, but they only bloom at night. And each bloom only lasts through the night. By 10 a.m. the next morning, the bloom is dead and turning black. So each time I'm out at night and get to experience the beauty of a single flower on that cactus, it's a Sabbath moment to me. There's a 10-year-old kid in my life who has been indifferent to me most of her life. And recently, she greeted me with a huge smile and a hug. Too late. No. This is why they don't let me around children. That was a Sabbath moment. This kid said, she might be okay. Not great, but she might be okay. So Sabbath moments, I take them anywhere I can get them. I notice, I appreciate, I pause. And then I save them. I save them. And during my Sabbath times, I reflect on my Sabbath moments. During the times when I am enturbulated, I try to grab one of those Sabbath moments so I can breathe them in. So while you are trying to decide how to respond to the bombing of Iran and Iraq, you may find your answers in the midst of fasting from busyness and outrage. Fasting from busyness and outrage. Once you have learned to recognize and appreciate your Sabbath moments, you can learn to create Sabbath time for yourself. You can wake up without the radio or the alarm or the TV. Listen to the whispers of the universe and the space between sleeping and not being fully awake. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb for the whole day. Set aside time to create something, a meal, gardening, sewing, cooking, preparing for guests. Turn off the news. Sit at your computer playing games, shopping, following Google trails to obscure knowledge, watching videos of Dr. Pimple Popper. Allow yourself to dream. Write in a journal, meditate, play with the children in your life, borrow somebody else's kids. Watch a loved one sleep. Drive along PCH while the sun is setting. There are lots of opportunities for Sabbath moments, on coffee breaks, on a walk, as you wait on hold, as you wait in line, as you prepare for the next protest. Sabbath time opens you to accidental splendor. Moonlight spilling into your bedroom window, a rainbow, the hushed quiet after the spontaneous song of a child. Sabbath moments are the secret, subversive, surprising, serendipitous moments when your outer self connects to your inner self, when your heart takes a deep breath and your soul says yes. You can enjoy them one at a time. You can collect your Sabbath moments until you have had a Sabbath rest. The goal is to slow down, to appreciate, to pause, and then to notice the difference. Sabbath time is to fast from busyness. Amy Lowell is a poet who wrote a Sabbath poem. She said, "Hold your soul open for my welcoming. Let the quiet of your spirit bathe me. Let the flickering flame of your soul play all about me, that into my limbs may come the keenness of fire, the life and joy of tongues of flame. And going out from you, tightly strung and in tune, I may rouse the bleary-eyed world and pour into it the beauty which you have begotten." Shabbat shalom, my friends.
Thank you, Reverend Kikanza. Your offering today goes to support the work of multiple groups in our church, including Green Living, the Women's Plus community, Lunches for Bunches, Youth RE, and so many others. In addition, half of our Sunday offering this month goes to a community or other charitable organization, and this month the offering goes to Planned Parenthood, which works to make family planning and sexual health a reality in our nation and beyond. Many of you have used their services or know about their services. They take a stand even in hard times, and especially now it is a courageous stand. We invite you to contribute in whatever way feels right for you. Ways to give are displayed in the slide behind me. All ways of receiving support are gratefully accepted. Cash or checks can be placed in the offering bags that are about to be passed around. But I just want to say thank you all so much for what you give to the church through time, through money, through your heart, and actually in creating Sabbath moments and all that you do. Being here today is a beautiful thing. Thank you. The ushers are invited to come forward, and your offering will now be gratefully received. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. As the choir sets up, I'm going to introduce our offertory anthem, which is Hadatani Kalbi An Rabbi, which means my heart told me about God. This is a reflective Sufi prayer. You will only hear two words in this piece, Allah, God, and He, which is a sound of a call. And then through several consecutive stanzas, you will hear that the work expresses stages of Sufism: love, hope, yearning, fear, intoxication, absence, and companionship. So this is Hadatani Kalbi, a reflective Sufi prayer. rise in body or in spirit. And we'll start closing hymn Dauna Naish, 1032. And we'll do the hymn twice.
You can sit. Deep breath. We have work to do. You can't do good work if you're tired, if you're overwrought, if you're unfocused. Give yourself time to rest. Give yourself the gift of noticing Sabbath moments and breathing in that peace. No matter what language we speak, it could be Arabic or Hebrew or Latin or English. The words, the feeling, the emotion, the spirit is the same. We want peace. We want to be peace. We want to bring peace. We want to have peace. We must fight for it. Go, my friends, in peace. Be peace in your corner of the world. Shabbat Shalom.